Alright, y'all, so in today's video, I want to go over this scalp trade that I just took here. It's a little short scalp that I took about an hour before New York opened. And the reason why I want to go over this is because it pretty much had the perfect confirmations for a quick scalp. And so I figured this could help a lot of people, because a lot of times people are asking me, Jason, like, when we have a level or a potential scalp trade, how do I know if the confirmations are there or not to take the trade? Okay, so let's come over to our chart here. And basically, as you can see, it was a chickens drinking water trade setup. Okay, what that means is that we had a high that we put in right here, and then we simply took out that high with bearish divergences on market Cipher B. So pretty much, guys, and I'm going to go ahead and just make a notepad, but if we're looking to scalp, especially if we're looking to do a chickens drinking water type trade, the things that we want to look for a perfect trade setup would be, number one, bearish divs, right? Number two, money flow. Number three would be open interest. And I think if we have all three of these things, it can make for pretty much a very good trade setup here. And so I just kind of want to go over this in real time, right? Because it made for a nice quick little scalp right here. And I am curious now to see, what's going to happen as we come up for our retest. So essentially, this is something that happens all the time, right? We have a high that we put in or a low that we put in, and we take out that high or low and then get a fake out to the downside. Okay, a great example of this is yesterday, right? Yesterday we had a level down here that was a CDW, a chickens drink water. This was the exact low of the move yesterday on yesterday's dump. Okay, we'll actually go over both of these. You can see that over here on the 28th of August, we put in this first low, and then yesterday, which was the 30th of August, a few days later, we came and we simply took out that low, right? And we did so with, as you can see here, bullish divergences. Okay, now what is a bullish divergence? A bullish divergence is when you have the momentum waves getting higher as the price is getting lower. Now these can be locally or more regionally. I want to point out the fact that we have a bullish divergence right here locally, but we also have a bullish divergence right here over the course of the entire move, right? Pretty much over the course of the entire move, from that first low that we put in to this low right here on August 30th, we have a bullish divergence across the entire board here. And then locally, we even have a bullish divergence right here. Okay, this is kind of what we want to look for if we are looking for a chickens drinking water trade setup. And you can see that we had the level marked out in advance because we knew it was an important level to be looking for a potential bounce from. Okay, and same with this today. Now these can be locally, these can be more regionally. Yesterday morning, the high of before we dumped was also a chickens drinking water type trade setup. We put in the initial high, we put in a higher high right here with the momentum waves getting lower, right? This is a bearish divergence. Okay, we want to look for the momentum waves and the price doing the opposite thing. Again, earlier today, before the trade that I'm currently in, while I was sleeping, look at what we had here. We had a high put in, we had a higher high, and what did we have on market Cipher B? We had a very bearish divergence right here. Okay, a very, very bearish divergence. The momentum waves were getting lower. So when we are looking for a trade setup, a scalp like this, okay, because a lot of times what will happen is people will they'll put in a trade just because we're like breaking out of a resistance, they'll short, which is honestly a horrible idea unless you have your confirmation. The only way we can know this is a fake out, right, is if we actually have confirmation that this move is unsustainable, right? That this move is unsustainable. That this move is unsustainable. We need confirmation of that, because if it is unsustainable, there's a very high chance we're going to have a sharp pullback like we're getting right now. And as you can see, we are finding support at this little area of high volume, which is why we have taken profit 1 on the trade. As you can see here, we've taken profit 1 on the trade. And I have my other take profit set now at the low of this local little range here, and then again at this low. But that's neither here nor there. I want to talk about how we can get into trades like this. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to mark out that key level, this high here. Okay, now it helps if we also know how to mark other key levels on a chart, like these green boxes that I have on my chart. You can see these are the boxes that I had on my chart from yesterday. They are very much so respected, right? Look at this. We come down. We didn't find support on this box, but we retest, find resistance on this box. We come down, bounce perfectly off this lower box. We come up, find resistance on this box, come bounce from this box, and now we're back up at the high of the range. Now, if you want to learn how to mark levels like this and do some good technical analysis, you can go to jasongaspertrading.com. This course will give you the knowledge and the skills you need to become a confident, profitable trader, because it gives you the blueprint to stop chasing price and start actually having a plan in advance, which is very, very important to always have a plan in advance. In fact, in the VIP Discord, this is what we do. We give trade setups in advance, what we're looking for. For example, yesterday, the high of the move that we put in yesterday, Boyan, who's a trader in the Discord, he gave the setup in advance, and it played out perfectly according to his plan, right? Because he was planning to take out the double top, fill the single prints, and basically take a short from that exact area. This is the setup given in advance. And then, it happened pretty much exactly as he was planning for, right? And if you do want to join the VIP Discord, where we have a team of traders giving levels, giving trade setups, doing live streams myself every single day, I upload the important levels. You can go to patreon.com/Jason Casper. And back to the Bitcoin price action. So the first thing that we want to look for, again, is a high that we have. This is great for scalping, okay, especially when there's a lot of volume injected into the market. Now, the second thing that we want to look for, we're taking for granted here, and 0 is key level, right? Key level. Let's make this a little bigger, actually, so that we can see here. And also, let me push this back on. Okay, so key level, right? Then we want to look for bearish divergences. We just went over what a bearish divergence is. Then we want to look at money flow. Money flow is also key. So if we take a look at what was happening up here, okay, yesterday, and we go down to these lower time frames. Whoops, I guess now I have to come back. Okay, look at what was happening on these lower time frames, guys. Market Cipher B, right? Does not lie. The money flow does not lie. Look at what is happening to the money flow on these lower time frames. As the price is getting higher, we can see money coming out of the asset. Right? Money is coming out of the asset. This is a very strong indicator. If it's happening along with bullish or bearish divergences, it's a very strong indicator that the move is unsustainable. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and just show you guys. I'm going to turn off everything else here on Market Cipher so we can just take a look at these waves here, right? Look at the waves getting lower. This is showing us money leaving the market. Now, even when we came back up for another retest, this is actually the beginning of the huge move down when New York opened right here, right? We can see that money flow is still getting lower from the initial point that we put in, right, over time. And, I want to show you something also. The start of the move to the downside yesterday was actually another very local chickens drinking water, which did in fact happen if we put back on our momentum waves right here, boop, boop, right? It did also happen with bearish divergences, right? This is the 1 minute time frame. We can see if we take a trend line from here to here, that this wave to this wave is a bearish divergence from that high to this high, right? We could see the direction coming down as the price is getting higher, right? So we want to look for that money flow. We want to look for those divergences. And then honestly, guys, a kicker can also be looking at open interest. Now, what is open interest? If we go to a website called coinalyze.net, okay, this is a free tool that we could use here. We can look at this thing here called open interest. Okay, open interest. This is showing us, okay, right down here, these purple and blue candles, when the candles are turning blue and getting higher, this is showing us that traders are actively opening up positions and entering into the market, putting their money at risk. Okay, it doesn't tell us if they're longing or shorting, it just tells us people are entering into trades. When the candles are turning purple and open interest coming down, it's showing us people are exiting trades. This is how we can identify something like a short squeeze. If people are exiting trades, yet the price is going up, this is telling us this move to the upside is not being caused by people longing the market, okay? The move to the upside is considered weak if it's just shorts getting wrecked. There's no new money stepping in to push the price up, in other words, right? But if open interest is getting higher, this is telling us that the move is very strong and it can be sustained, right? Let's see if I can find an example of that. So the shorts from yesterday, when we were coming down yesterday, a very, very strong downtrend because open interest was increasing. We saw lots of new shorts opening up, longs being absorbed. It was very, very bearish looking, right? Now, if we put in a high, okay, and then we put in a higher high, we want to be taking a look at the open interest, because if the open interest is coming down as the price is getting higher, this is telling us that this move is really not sustainable, especially if it's combined with divergences. So up here, look at this. When we put in the high on this 5-minute candle, look at the open interest. Massive, massive decrease in open interest right here. It's telling us that there is money leaving the market, there are bearish divergences, and there's no new longs at all coming in that are going to push this price up higher. This is unsustainable. We are going to get a rejection here, right? And these are things that we can look for to get into high probability trade setups. And the reason why it's a high probability trade setup, again, is because of the fact that, and now we actually have some bullish divergences down here, if you notice this, right? And we're getting a little move to the upside. You know, it's very interesting to be watching these things at all times, guys. We see bullish divergence. We see money flow also starting to get thicker very locally. But it's a good trade setup because we know, right, that as soon as we put in this high wick right here, that our trade, we enter right here. Our stop loss goes above the wick, very small risk, a 0.08% stop loss, okay? Even if we take a loss here, it's a very, very small loss. Our first take profit should be the first area of support, right? So right off the bat, if we close the entire trade, this is an 8-to-1 risk to reward ratio. And if we're going to hold it for longer and take partial profits, right, which my next take profit is down here, this is a 17-to-1 risk to reward trade setup right here, okay? Very, very good setup. Very, very simple confirmations to get into. Again, we have our key level. We have our bearish divs, or bullish if we're longing, money flow, and open interest. So I just wanted to come in and make this video for you guys. And, you know, I do have a, I have some take profits lower, but if we start to change market structure here, I'll probably close out the entire position, and then I will look for another entry. That's it for today's video, guys. God bless everybody in the name of Jesus the Messiah. I do hope that you found this video helpful. If you did, guys, make sure to like the video. Make sure to subscribe to the channel. Peace.